Hey guys, it's Brandon here again, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about my path on, my experience on the path of alchemy. I mentioned it in my first video that I was called to the path of alchemy at the beginning of my awakening, and it was really interesting how it happened because I didn't even know anything about alchemy. It didn't even cross my mind. I read the book The Alchemist a long, long time ago, and I loved the book. It was extremely good, and the message was so powerful. It resonated with me a lot, but I just never really thought anything about what it was or just really anything about it. And then early on in my awakening, I think it just something about it just originally came into my YouTube feed, or I just saw something about it that just kind of resonated with me, and I watched it, and it was an alchemist basically just doing a little seminar about it, and it just really intrigued me, and so I started studying it, and it just resonated with me so strong. And the first couple of months, I was just into the philosophical aspect of alchemy, and that's what a lot of people are into. Transmuting energy, which is beautiful and amazing, and you can, and I do, and I do that aspect of it as well. But I also took it to the practical level, where I actually make medicines. They're called spagyrics, and what that means is to take apart and then recombine. That's what the word spagyric actually means, because what we do as alchemists is we take for example, I'm still pretty new. Like I said, this was only, last fall time when I really started getting into and practicing alchemy. So I'm still in the plant realm, but you can also, you work your way you start at the plant realm and then work your way up to the mineral realm, and then you work your way up to the metal realm. But the thing about the plant realm is it's very forgiving. So, if you can cook, then you can basically start working in alchemy. But when you start working your way into the mineral realms, which I study right now, but I don't practice yet because my skills aren't honed that much yet, but I have created some extremely powerful medicines. People have reported to me, overcoming depression with them, or headaches. I even had one person talk about how it made them lucid dream, one of the spagyrics that I made, which is really made sense to me, because that particular spagyric, which was a juniper spagyric, I made it from the juniper plant, tree. When I take it, it connects me. I feel very connected to my higher self, and just very, spiritual. And, I just have this spiritual understanding when I take that spagyric. But I create them under the planetary alignment, under their planetary rule. So different plants will be ruled under a different planet. And if most of you guys probably know this, but each planet, there's 7 planets, and the sun and the moon being 2 of them, that correspond with days of the week. And you make the medicines under that planetary rule, and they also have chakra alignments. Different plants can have different alignments with chakras, and also different days. And so I made them according to those principles, and that's what made them so powerful. But so anyway, that's just a little very basic rundown on spagyrics. But I was telling my story about how I got into alchemy. So anyway, I just started studying it, and I started reading, the Kabbalah, I believe, was the first alchemical text that I read. Actually, that's not true, because before I knew anything about alchemy, I had read the Emerald Tablets, and the Emerald Tablets just resonated with me hugely. And now I've read them several times. I'm in love with the Emerald Tablets. I read them on a fairly regular basis. And so the interesting thing about that is, when I read the Emerald Tablets initially, I had no idea that they were associated with alchemy. But Thoth is the father of alchemy, because Thoth is Hermes, And one of the other alchemical texts that I've studied and read is the Corpus Hermeticum. So Hermes is just another incarnation of Thoth. So anyway, those are just a couple alchemical texts that I've studied from: the Emerald Tablets, the Kabbalion, the Corpus Hermeticum, and there's others too, but those are the main ones, other than the books that I read on how, the practical aspect of alchemy. But anyway, since I've been working as an alchemist, I've received instruction and influence from very powerful alchemists, such as I've worked very closely with Saint Germain, and he's taught me so much in the astral planes, and he's actually done some really interesting things to me. A couple of weeks ago, he did something to my foot, my right foot, kind of between, on the bottom, kind of between my big toe and the toe next to it, and then on the right side of my back, kind of on my shoulder blade. And I believe he was doing something to my meridians to help prepare me for the solar flash that we're going to experience next month. Well, man, it's the last day of February, so practically this month, in less than a month. So I think he was doing something to help prepare me for that, so that I could receive the most benefit from that with whatever is going to happen to me. But anyway, he's also taught me some very powerful things. I had this incredible experience less than a week ago, and just was flooded with so much information. Matter of fact, my mind is only on like a need-to-know basis with a lot of the things that happen to me and a lot of the things that I experience. And then, when certain things come up in the 3D where I need that information, it'll come to me. But otherwise, it's kind of like, wow, something intense happened. I just don't know what. But the other night, when all that information was I was doing some really intense meditations with some copper shoes that I use, and I also have them connected to cords that I can plug into, and it helps. It amplifies the power of my meditations. It's intense. But anyway, I was doing that, and holy cow, just so much information, and so many people were teaching me and guiding me. And one thing, I'm going to show you a painting that my wife had, because we're still really close friends. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've learned that we're separated, but we're still really good friends, which is awesome, because we kind of started to wake up together, and so we have that connection and that bond. So that's one thing great, because we have 3 children together too. So anyway, a little bit off the topic, but just kind of giving you a little bit of background. She's an amazing painter, and she painted me. So part of alchemy is also very strongly tied to Kabbalah. And so it's, you do a lot of work with the Tree of Life. And she made this beautiful painting that I'm going to show you in just a second here of the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah Tree of Life. And because she knew how much I loved it, and she started studying it and was really fascinated by it too. And so she made me this painting, and I hung it on my wall, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so incredible, but I just didn't know what to do with it, other than just use the energy of it to empower my space, my temple. And it does greatly. But then one of the things that was taught to me as I was coming out of this meditation was how to use this. And I'll kind of show you guys, because maybe you don't know exactly how to use can I flip this thing around? I don't think so. I'll just turn it. So in case you don't know how to use the Kabbalah Tree of Life, so this is what I was taught in the astral within the past week or so. So this is like the all, the source. And then this one right here, I don't know if it's got these backwards on, this is on my right side, and it's the Chokmah. This one is Keter, and this one is Bina. So this one is like the source, and this one is the divine father, or the divine masculine, and this is the divine feminine, or divine mother. And then all of these have different representations. This right here is basically like here, right here, where we are. And then this is the ether right here. So whatever you want to learn, or whatever you want to gain information from, or gain access to information. You pick one of these and you meditate upon it. And you use, in your meditation, you'll be taught or instructed according to where you're trying to get the information from. So anyway, that is my painting of the Kabbalah that I wanted to share with you. And anyway, so I've just, over the past few months, here, let me just show you. I've got, you can probably see it in my background. These are some of the medicines that I've made. Just some of the spagyrics. This one is an aloe spagyric. So this one is a juniper spagyric. This one is a cucumber. Here we've got a garlic. This one is dill. This one is rose. This one is beet. This one is strawberry. But what I do is they're extremely powerful because they're not like so not to discredit the power of tinctures or essential oils because they are powerful, but they're missing some components because they're only one part of the plant. So in alchemy, we believe there are 3 components to life, and that is the soul, and that is represented by sulfur. And that is the oil from the being. And then you have the mercury, which is the spirit, which is the alcohol from the being. So that is the spirit. The sulfur or the soul is the oil. And then you have the salt, which is the body, which is what, you know, the physical, you literally break down the body of it into a salt. I have one, but it's kind of hard to get right now. I would show you otherwise. But so anyway, unlike a tincture, a spagyric, once you take, we'll just use plant because that's the simplest one, that's easiest for people to understand. You separate the soul or the oil, the spirit or the alcohol, and the salt or the body. And you separate them all and then you recombine them. So you're not missing, you have literally every aspect of the being, of the plant, to benefit from. So unlike a tincture, a spagyric is the resurrected perfect form of that being, or that plant, or that mineral, or that metal. And you can use that as a medicine to, I mean, you can really do all sorts of different things with them. You really can transmute metals into gold, and you really can create, medicines to make people live for extended periods of time, if not forever. But anyway, yeah, so you can come up with all of that in your laboratory experiments if you study hard enough, long enough, and do the work. A lot of people say, what was his name? Nicholas Flamel is still alive, walking the earth today, and he would be like 600-something years old if he is. But anyhow, yeah, there's a lot of power in the art. And it's beautiful, and it's very sacred, and it requires a lot of soul and spirit to put into these things to make them beneficial for people. But I just really, that is my light work. So that is how I want to contribute to, to the world and help wake people up. So my medicines actually help people do that. But anyway, that's just a little bit on alchemy and about myself and my path, my path of alchemy. And thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope that my content is fun and entertaining for you guys. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening. Bye.